Yep, I started as well.
All right. Yep. Yeah. Do you want me to do the introduction, or do you want to? It don't really matter to me either way.
Oh yeah, you go ahead, do it. I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. As soon as Jay gets in here. Duh. That bad. All right. So who's your prediction on winning this one?
uh, is the stream not live?
No, not yet. My audio is muted, so Alrighty, hold on. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Today is the final drop of the night. I have here with me Bowser and just call me Ash.
Hello,
Bowser
everybody.
again played earlier today. Yeah.
Hello.
And of course, Ash joined me on the last stream. So today we have the ever so wonderful match between KDCM and Fjord Visigoths. So we're going to get over to the map ban. Gonna tell the teams they're good to go. So, what do y'all think is gonna be the map order here? Just coming straight up from these two teams, knowing that these guys are both a little bit more brawl centric. Like, you think just gonna bring like HPG and then Terra and then maybe Bog or?
So I think these teams are both very hard brawling teams. Some of the hardest probably in this entire tournament. I haven't seen them be capable of much else. So with that said, I would expect to see there's Terra from Fjord of Visigoths. I think Terra is a strong map to rush on. I kind of would expect that pick. Going to it, I would expect maybe Viridian or HPG to be our next picks. Probably the next two best brawling maps. Frozen is really awkward because Frozen is, you have a lot of long sightlines. And so if you keep up your scouting, a lot of pushes and rushes can be stopped with high advanced warning. So, and there we go. We do see KDCM picking Viridian Bog, as I said. So I would expect HPG to be that third pick going into our third ban here. And I would anticipate neither of these teams want to play in Bearclaw. Okay, I am proven wrong.
Bear.
Fjord used one of their map picks on Bearclaw. Interesting. They might have something fun in the works.
Yeah, I think I would kind of consider Bearclaw to be a little bit more like in Fjord's favor of kind of being able to do that little bit more of that mid range that they can do. Again, Frozen's the next map there from KDCM, so it's very interesting to see HPG is the last map.
I am surprised. I don't know. I feel like I should be surprised to see that. I think I'm surprised to see that. I feel like HBG is a map where we'd see these guys just absolutely rip-roaring in the basement, but that's not going to be the case, perhaps.
So, looks like Fjord's taking Team 1 on Terra. KDCM, again, is taking Team 2 on Bog. So far, making our lives a little bit easier with the side swaps. Yeah, Fjord again going Team 1 on Bearclaw. And there's the side swap finally. I was talking with someone about it earlier. I think Frozen's probably the most team unbalanced map that there is, considering Team 1 has a little bit of the advantage to pushing for Theta. But I think you guys in Vile showed a really, really good way of being able to deny Theta pretty quickly and early on.
Correct. We proved that there is not much of a disadvantage in the sides on Frozen City. I would say objectively South Side is worse. You have to navigate more obstacles, and you can potentially be crossfired a little bit harder. I think the distance is straight up longer. I could be wrong on that. I would say Bearclaw. Bearclaw is the map where side advantage is a real thing. North side on Bearclaw is straight up at a disadvantage for taking Theta. They are further away from the cap, and they have worse sightlines onto the cap. They do have other power positions on the map, such as the big D7 ridge. I anticipate we'll see the Visigoths, as they picked Team 1, use that D7 ridge, of course. But, like, South Side is just straight up better for playing Theta. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that they gave KDCM South Side. That might be part of the PSYOP for picking Bearclaw. We'll have to see.
Yeah, or maybe they're just more confident on that side. So again, the map order is going to be Terra, Bog, Bearclaw, Frozen City, and HPG. With really only one side swap after the third drop. So could we see a 3-out? Could we make this go to drop 5? I hope it goes to drop 5. Again, like earlier today, I really, really enjoyed casting the Potato Carry Society versus Mantra match, where Mantra was able to pull it out by winning 3 maps in a row. So, yeah, I don't know. What are y'all's predictions on this?
I predict it's going to be a very close series. I think both of the teams are pretty well evenly matched in skill, and I think we're going to see a drop 5 tonight. I think Visigoths have definitely put in the time and effort to practice. That's why they're here in the top 12. That's why they did play the Invitationals. I believe they played the Invitationals, so that's kind of why they're here.
Okay, interesting. I think it'll be a 4. I think we're going to go to 4. I think KDCM will drop 1, and it might be on Bog. Bog is one of those things where if you mess up, if you are going to push at each other, I think one side, if you mess it up, you're done. You're done. And I think that's maybe the tipping point map for me. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So while we're kind of waiting on Fjord to kind of get locked up here, I'm gonna bring us over to the map shot here just a little bit, just kind of talk some about some of the power spots on Terra. Um, Even though we did get to see some of it earlier today with the three-way tie between Fjord Focus, 228, and Esrot. So again, we kind of
Almost
talked
say
about
the DSC game versus the 10th Lyrian was very interesting for control spots with DSC basically spread out all over the map. That was interesting.
Yeah, and you also had Ghosty in Hunchback 2C, basically way off in a corner, essentially able to have like complete control of Gamma between the Hunchback and then that Direwolf that was all the way up in like the Echo 5 spot.
Absolutely, and I think it's something a lot of teams are not used to when playing Terra Firma, but I think it's something people have to expect. The reality of Terra Firma is playing around the terrain is the biggest advantage you can get. There's so many peaks and spires that shoot up into the roof of the map that you can. There's tons of places to jump down and scout off of. For example, the big volcano coming from mostly Team 1 dominant side, but of course we have seen Team 2 in the past push mechs basically right of that to try and take that volcano, and it has actually worked. So I expect to see some of that coming into this match. Obviously, we saw DSC earlier playing way behind Gamma. They basically had, for those watching earlier, they basically had something like, they had a guy basically right up there or so, and then they had somebody right up there or so, and that allowed them to hold Gamma for way longer than they should have. And so I think teams don't expect that. Teams not expecting that. You can do very similar things on Epsilon too, for the record. Epsilon is very similar. You have a lot of spots around, say, the back of the map, even around set like that, where you just can't really contest them if your lights going in Epsilon here. And you can take a lot of strong scouting off this little quick draw here, right off here. This is a position I don't see teams playing enough, and they need to play it more. I believe DSC abused that very well in their match earlier, but even still.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either Nyan or Basalt that was in the mech over there. I know they had a Direwolf and an Executioner station basically across from each other, overwatching Kappa.
Absolutely.
And just basically had that really, really nice 3-cap hold and just completely foregoing Theta. So, looks like we're actually about to have both teams locked here.
Fantastic.
Fjord again locked at 475. KDCM locked at 480. Really not a whole lot to tell from the tonnage. So, but all right, both teams are locked, ready to go. We're going to be dropping here.
I think sometimes tonnage can be misleading, like our game last week. I remember one of the casters saying, "Oh, we're 15 under, we're up to something." It's just like, no, we just couldn't work out what other mech to pick, so that will do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a conversation earlier with Tios where it's like mechs at this point, you're not really looking at tonnage anymore, as you're looking more for specific hard points, quirks, everything. So like, your 45 tonners are significantly better than 50 tonners, so there's no reason to ever bring them.
And you can move the tonnage elsewhere, bigger mechs, smaller, different roles. It's especially on things like the larger maps, Bear Claw, we can do nonsense.
The thing with tonnage is that's very important. Is it's all about like looking for tonnage deviation. That's really what it's about. The difference between 475 and 480 is more or less irrelevant. But you start seeing like 465 against 480, yeah, you have to suspect something's up. So, but we don't see that.
460, yeah, definitely. 460, there's some sneaky shit going on.
All right, so I'm gonna push towards the Kappa spawn area here. So kind of wait for the teams to kind of drop in here for a minute. So far, already looking at the team sides, it looks like Fjord has a bit more of a DACA push or receive essentially, with a Madcat Mark IIB, a Kodiak 3, but they also have an SR6. So that's probably going to be large pulse AR mediums if I had to guess. And then over here at KDCM side, Viper C, Marauder 2C, a Executioner Prime, a Shadowcat, a Hellfire Void, a Spider 5K, a Vulcan 5S, and a Stalker 7D. All those are pretty going to be your typical standard builds, I assume, especially coming from KDCM.
So, coming from Fjordlands, we have Icefare J, we have a Mistlynx G, we have a Spider 5K, Matcat 2CB, we have the Shadowcat P, we have the Storm Rhino 6, the Viper F, and the Kodiak 3. So, I like just observation. I like Fjordland's deck a lot better. I think the heavy laser bomb isn't as strong on this map, and it's not really due to the heat. It's more so due to the lack of, I would say, there's kind of a lack of range almost. We do see Fjordlands is going to come with, what is that, 6 people basically headed towards Theta to cut off, or sorry, KDCM is going to come to cut off Theta from Fjordland. They do get it, actually. Fjordland is not going to run onto Theta straight away. They might try with the Mistlynx now that they've chased KDCM off a little bit. Yes, the Mistlynx is going to try from Arthin, 00 on that Mistlynx. He might get Theta. KDCM, it seems like they're just going to let him have it. They do let him have Theta. Very interesting. They had so many mechs to try and deny that, but they didn't bother. And now they've revealed that they have 6 mechs in the middle of the map. 7, actually. We do see Stool Softener in that Viper trying to get up on the Volcano. Fjordland sees him, though, and are burning him with the Laser Vomit in the back, the Storm Rhino. Stool Softener's going to abort that. He's going to jump off the Volcano. I think he should have kept going for that, just to keep up the scouting, if anything. And we see both these teams have kind of put themselves in a choke point here. We see that Fjordland has literally 5 mechs sitting in just a little tunnel behind Theta. Meanwhile, KDCM is kind of, it's very similar, actually, in one grid square, with all 3 of their assaults, Teos and the Executioner, Snack and the Stalker, and Eats only heads in the Marauder, all covering the same angle. I don't really like that. I would like to see, we do see Teos moving a little bit. I'd like to see a bit more of a spread on these assaults here from KDCM.
Yeah. I will definitely say, I do like how Logic and Jay are kind of playing in tandem with each other. Again, the Vulcan against Snubs and Mags, and you have the Shadowcat with Plasmas and AP Gosh, kind of both pop-tarting at the same time, really effectively using teamwork to really start damaging opponents at such a close range.
So we do see Stool Softener trying to come back around the Fjord firing line, but it is, I guess the UAV sees we do see that. He's getting himself absolutely drilled. He walked onto Theta for some reason. He's standing on the Theta cap. If KDCM realizes this, he will be a free kill. And Revan and the Shadowcat not doing very well, down to 69%, worse for the wear. System already... Atreus in that Kodiak down to 80% as well. The trades are going pretty well for KDCM. Eats only heads down to 72% on the Marauder. Orange is getting hurt, but of course it's a Marauder. And he's going to be quick. Yeah. Oh, we see Noble C push way up in that Stone Rhino. I'm so confused.
I've just seen Teos then shooting. Teos had great angles in on Noble Steed.
Yeah, Teos did finally get that angle. Fjord is going to try and jump on Teos with the light pack and with the assaults. Teos does go down. Very good pick from Fjord. But at this point, they're 3 versus 5 at least, with their assaults way too badly damaged to even contribute. Iron Wolfpack is going to go down in short order. They may get Sneck, though. They may get Sneck. They do get Snack. They do get Snack. Iron Wolfpack does go down for it. We see Jay coming in from the rear with his Vulcan. This is just an absolute cluster right now. Fjordland's assaults are pushed up, helping. Eats only heads towards the down. So at this point, Fjordlands has traded 1 for 3 on the light to the assaults. Fantastic trading for Fjordland on the light pack. It's unfortunate those assaults took so much damage early. We do see Andy going down there. System of Trace getting shot in the back by Stool Softener and the Viper. He's going to be the focus of KDCM's light pack. Call Me Gil and Stool Softener are going to take him out in short order here. Jay's taking a lot of damage. Jay might go down to Noble Seed eventually. He's not legged, though. Logic Prime, still pretty fresh. Arthin 00 in that Mistlynx. Very fresh, but I think ammo's going to be concerned for that Storm Mistlynx. System Atreus does go down. Stool Softener goes down. This is closer than it looks. Logic Prime self-destructs. Oh, that's terrible. We're going to go into the cockpit view at this point. So, Eco Ninja is one shot on that Ice Fair in the lava, unfortunately. Zelnega overheated his leg off, but he is still with all of his guns. He almost just overheated himself again. Jay overheated himself. Arthin has ammo. Arthin has ammo to win this, but Call Me Gil has the range and the speed. It's a 6v6 right now. The cap is in favor of Fjordlands, notably, because KDCM let them get Theta. They let them have that cap. Fjordlands is ahead in the caps, notably, by a lot. Call Me Gil gets legged. Oh no. Call Me Gil is going to be short order for Arthin 00 here on that Mistlynx. And Artillery Hamster we see is legged, but he's coming in for the side shots. Call Me Gil will go down very shortly here.
Yeah, I think Gil kind of made the mistake of essentially splitting himself off from his teammate. Because, again, Zell is still up with a Hellfire, and he has a bit of range and a little bit of DPS.
They need it. But Gil needed to run towards Zelnega. Zelnega still has his guns. We do see Zelnega and Jay together on Theta, but at this point, it's almost... Actually, I'm sorry, Jay's down. It's just Zelnega. At this point, it's going to be all she wrote, because Zelnega is legged on Theta. If Zelnega had legs... He could maybe chase down Artillery Hamster, get that kill, but unfortunately, Arthin 00 on that mislink's still fresh on his legs.
Yeah, it looks like Artillery is going to go and challenge Zell here.
That was...
Not, maybe.
My goodness. That was a fantastic turnaround from Fjordlands. Their assaults got absolutely drill pushing onto Theta, but their lights came in at the right time. KDCM did not maintain scouting on the sides for their assaults, and their lights were not in position to help their assaults. We literally saw Fjordland's light pack run through their entire team, kill Tios, kill Itomi Heads, and then kill Snack. Just back to back to back before Iron Wolf pack went down. Their lights were not ready to stop it.
I think the other thing as well is that the lights moving in that quickly from FJRD looked like the KDCM guys panicked a little bit. So rather than finish off all of those assaults, which were pretty much one touch, they left them up and they just kept shooting and absolutely barreling down on KDCM because they kind of lost a little bit of focus there.
So we do see Artillery Hamster is going to take the fight with Zelnega. Is he going to win it? Zelnega still has all of his weapons. Artillery takes a big hit there. This is pretty much just for pride at this point. He is winning. Artillery's winning. Zelnega's not able to land the shots on the Spider, who's very well leg shielding. Artillery Hamster's doing a great job leg shielding. He does finally get him, though. Zelnega shutting down due to heat. Just about dead there.
Yeah. So I think the one thing was Fjord recognized the fact that they were playing KDCM's game at that trade. Because, again, KDCM's going to have, with a big, heavy vomit, it's going to have those better trade opportunities at the early start. That's why their assaults for Fjord were taking so much damage. I think they recognized that and just dove. Because they needed to bring the DPS aspect of the Daka into the fight.
Absolutely, and we do see Arthin is going to come in for the Void, just, I guess, to speed up the match. They're calling where the Void is, 1v1 between Arthin and Zelnega. I think Arthin can do it. Arthin gets him, and that is going to be drop 1 for Fjordlands. Incredibly well played. I really did not like KDCM's deck. I'm not sure why they took a bunch of laser mechs, a bunch of slow laser mechs, and pushed the middle of the map. You're pushing into Fjordland's Daka, and that's exactly what we did. Looking at the damage here, we see System Atreus getting 674 damage in that Kodiak, despite taking a lot of pressure, and despite his assault teammates not able to help too much. We see the Noblest in the Stone Round of 6, 342, and then Andy in the Mechat, 280. So Atreus got more damage than both of them combined. So, very important to point out. And we do see Arthin with a huge damage number, 521 coming out of that mislinks for Artillery Hamster, 402 coming out of Spider. Honestly, fantastically well played by Fjordlands. They're here to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Zell, again, out-damaged his entire team at 710. The next closest was going to be 510 from Logic Prime with that Shadow Cap.
But of course, in Zell doing so much damage, and KDCM taking such a hot build, he blew his own legs off via overheat. Which meant he could not contest the light fight, and he could not save Gil, the only non-legs light on his team, from getting ran down basically 2v1 by Fjord's leg spider and, of course, the unlegged mislinks.
Alright, so the next map here is going to be Viridian Bog, which we really haven't gotten to see a whole lot of so far this tournament, but I think Bog is a pretty interesting map. And I definitely think it's more so of KDCM's map to lose almost. I feel like this map's really up their alley. I've also gotten to play KDCM on this map, so I am curious to see what they bring to the table. I haven't really gotten to see Fjord play on this map, so I would assume they're probably going to do the pretty standard Daka hold off the Team 1 side.
So, looking at the map...
This is the fun one to draw, I reckon.
Viridian is very interesting. You can do, legitimately, you can do everything on Viridian. So you have, obviously, you have your very strong trading positions from Team 1 side, perhaps even more towards the back of the map. If you get the color in the right mix for once. So something more like that, something like that, something like that. So we see, I would say, that looking at the Team 2 trading positions, like there, that's the big one everyone knows about and everyone sees. Everyone throws a mech there or two there. And I would say this position is more influential to the match and closer, even though physically it's sort of similar distance to the Theta Cap. In reality, it's just the sightlines are better, it's more pushed up, and it's just a more dominant position coming from Team 2. So that will be Visigoths' advantage to play. Or, I'm sorry, is it KDCM? I believe it's KDCM.
KDCM.
Yes,
Yep,
it's KDCM.
KDCM.
So that will be KDCM's advantage to play. We saw they like their mid-range trade with all that vomit coming into Terra Therma. Not a map I would have expected that much laser vomit on. So hopefully they do something very similar on Bog, because I think that strategy would be a lot more effective on Bog. However, there is something to be said for these push lanes. You have these super strong push lanes right through here, basically, that if you're not scouting stuff like this, you're not scouting stuff like that, you don't have a lot of distance, right? So you can have mechs anywhere you want them on any sort of high ground you like, and they can just get absolutely railed by these Fjord potential Daka mechs that we have seen they brought in Terra Therma. And yeah, you brought lasers to outtrade, but Daka still has range. You have to respect the fact that it's not 300-meter AC-20s. It almost seems like a lot of these teams like play around that. Like, oh, they brought Daka. Okay, they don't have the range to fight me. Well, they do have the range to fight you, and they have the pinpoint to drill you out. So it's something these teams have to be prepared for.
Okay, with some plasmas too, you're looking at 55, 60 damage a pop. It's not far off a laser bomb alpha on most mechs.
Yeah. Especially considering the velocity buff to Daka recently as well, making it much more viable. I think that's why, like, especially we're starting to see a lot more Daka mechs starting to get played. I know for Op4, whenever I joined them, I ended up basically running a Daka mech on every single drop that we had on any map, minus Frozen. Team 1 went ahead and locked here. So they got 3 Charlie, 3 Bravo, and 2 Alpha coming from Team 1 of Fjord.
2 Bravo's interesting. You'd have one there maybe if you were going to Epsilon, but 2, unless you're putting like someone up high to be long range to watch that Delta 5 or Echo 5 ridges and the low ground. Yeah, 2 in B5 is interesting for FJRD.
I think there's
3.
Like 1 to Epsilon and then
Sorry, 3 in
Delta.
Bravo.
Yeah. I think you have 1 trader, 1 capping Epsilon. I think you have another light scouting Delta 5.
Yeah, light or medium, either one definitely works.
And then right now you also have KDCM with 4 Charlie, 2 Bravo, 2 Alpha, so probably more so of that northern side push. Anyways, I'm going to bring us back to the lobby view as both teams are locked.
Very quick locks from these teams. I like to see it.
We do like fast locks. Gone are the days where teams take both of their 5 minutes to ready up. Just kidding. I think one of the teams ended up bringing like 4 minutes and 30 seconds before they locked. All right, I'm gonna go fly over to the Sigma side here. So from KDCM, we have a Summoner B, a Charger N7, a Mislinks Ebon Dragoon, a Spider 5K, a Crusader 6T, Shadowcat, a Longbow Overcharge, and a Zeus Skoko. I think this is definitely going to be a big old heavy push from KDCM.
So looking at Fjord, we have linebacker, Stone Rhino 1, the Dakar Rhino. We have an Executioner. We have an Osiris 1P, Mislinks G, Charger number 7, Viper F, and Shadowcat P. So I would like to think both these teams are going to just full send into each other.
The N7 is 2 binaries and 4 regular medium lasers. And then the Crusader is 3 light PPCs, 11 small lasers. And then the Summoner B should be like 8 SRM6. Yeah.
So looking at Andy's Stone Rhino, he's got 4 AC-10s, 2 plasmas. The Charger, the Chargers you said from Eats Only Heads, 2 binary 4 mediums. We see Teos, medium X-Pulse, HMGs, a Brawl Rushing Spider. The Summoner, as you said, 8 SRM6, 9 SRM6 actually, I believe. Mislinks, Ebon Dragoon, 4 Serm 4, Zelnega, the Skokomish, 6 Serm 6, or 4 Serm 6, 2 Snub. We see Lombobu, the classic Shadowcat. We see Jay's Crusader, optimized for speed with the light PPCs instead of something larger. We see Nobles.
FJRD haven't scouted this yet. Look at them, they're spread everywhere.
Yes, we see Noblesse Charger, large X Pulse, medium X Pulse.
I think it just got scouted by the Osiris from Fjord.
And of course, Arthur and the Serm Mislinks.
Okay, the Theta mechs have just turned around now, so they've realized what's
KDCM
going
has
on.
made it to the middle. They're just going straight over. Straight over.
Classic
Not even enough
KDCM
time
right
to run through the builds. There's just no time, as the teams are already over and fighting. A lot of binaries coming from KDCM. I do like it. Andy getting I think Andy's almost caught out a little bit. Andy's completely caught out in the Stone Rhino. Completely caught out. They're going to get him killed first. Oh, that's terrible for Fjord. Stool Softener is dying just as quickly, though. They're going to take down Stool Softener. That's a big kill with that Sturm Summoner. Noblest is going to come in. Jay does go down in the Crusader first. Interesting. And Noblest has a perfect flank on KDCM's entire push, and nobody's turning to stop this man. System of Trace does go down in the linebacker.
Down. Iron Wolf is about to go drop here soon. Eats Only Heads goes down.
As fast as one team kills a mech, the other team kills a mech. Truly incredible
stuff.
This
is an absolute bloodbath. This is what we're here for. We love it. Noblest right now is getting attacked by Teos. Yeah, but again, it's the N7. It doesn't have any. It has crit. You can't crit it with the machine gun, so it's
taking a really long time. And we see Zelnega on the other side of the tree for Noblest, and the same kind of assault does go down first before Noblest. Snack does go down. It's even. It's completely lockstep even. 3v3 Osiris Shadowcat Mislinks versus Spider Shadowcat Mislinks. Truly incredible stuff. We see Teos does get legged. Wombo does go down the Shadowcat. Teos is going to be next, and that's going to be Fjord's drop as well.
Yeah, Gil doesn't have any arms. They shot his arms off completely.
Mm-hmm.
Gil, stop moving. Whatever. Yeah, again, that was just amazing. We love it. I love the aggro.
Wow, I mean, more than the aggro, like, the aggro's cool. And there goes Call Me Gil. That's going to be the second drop win for Fjord. Very well played. KDCM just barrels into the same spot. They don't consider, like, the fact that people could be flanking. They don't consider the fact that they could be walking into crossfires. They just full send it. And, I mean, it's respectable, but, like, I don't know. It's
well,
really
the other thing
difficult.
as well, not only was the Charger shooting him from the back, the Viper had also come in as well. So they were getting 2 mechs blasting all of KDCM's butt. Literally just 2 mechs absolutely beating on them before they turned around to realize. And I think there was 2, maybe 3 mechs already dead by that point. It's too late by then.
And of course, we can even look at some of the map paper. Like here's the thing, KDCM should have had a tremendous advantage getting Andy, who was pushed far too far ahead with so little scouting. But, I mean, they killed KDCM's first mech just as quickly, and then they killed Jay and that Crusader just as quickly. That Crusader is such a weird pick for a push. It just very much folds and dies, and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, it puts a lot of damage. Yeah, it's fast, but it's super squishy, especially if you're just running at people and they're just legging you from multiple angles, right, as Fjord did. They kind of received that as well as they could have, considering the scouting. Like,
would you rather have taken like a catapult or something for 65 tons as opposed to that Crusader?
Absolutely. You always do that. The Crusader is just too squishy when taking it in a push, and that's why we've seen a lot of top teams actually just not even taking the Crusader. We've actually just seen a lot of the top teams in the Invitationals and in Comp Q for those paying attention to that meta, and of course in these matches this weekend, people have just not been bringing the Crusader a lot of times, versus last year we saw the Crusader a pick on every single map by every single team on every single side. On this year, it's not happening. You have to wonder, why is that? Well, it's because the meta evolved, and it's a lot different. It's a less friendly meta for the Crusader.
I remember living in the Crusader last year. It was a grand old time. I think it's also very interesting a little bit some of the different builds. Like, again, you talked about the Crusader earlier with the 3 light people, 11 smalls, having the speed to be able to kind of keep up with the push. I think with KDCM, I think if they just took that split second to let the Skoko go first, because that Skoko is, it may be a Zeus, but it is incredibly tanky because of its structure and armor quirks, and then letting like the N7 go forward, and then letting everything else like the Summoner and just kind of going in and falling right behind for that push. I think it would have been a little bit more effective for them instead of just the Summoner just straight nose diving in there. I mean, it worked on killing the Stone Rhino, but again,
absolutely.
And like I think also like there was a binary medium laser N7 on KDCM side as opposed to the Fjord, which was large X pulse, medium X pulse.
Right. They have this. I respect KDCM's decks. There's clearly a lot of thought put into them, but I think the way they're putting their mechs is just very confusing. Like they're doing a full send shove with like a binary hybrid vom number 7. It's very interesting, and I think you could have more optimized picks coming in.
You could just flick over to the map strat, because there was a minor thing that KDCM could have done, which would have changed quite a bit of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when they came up to Echo 5, they crossed over, and then they went over here, and they kept going down, right? Now, if they had have come right a little bit, they would have avoided all of the FJRD crossfire. Well, not all of it, but a fair bit of it that was coming from sort of in this direction, coming their way, right? So if they kept diving off, rather than dive to the right, if they went to the left, would have mitigated a fair bit of damage, and they probably would have been able to see the Charger and the Viper too, which might have made the difference.
Do you think that decision could have been just like a lack of information, or it was, hey, we see this Stone Rhino, we know it's big and bad, we have to get it off the field as quickly as possible?
Well, if you're KDCM, right, there's a couple things happening for your push. So you're under the understanding that you have to just full send, right? Your push didn't really get scouted. You didn't really see much opposition. It got scouted last second. You just kind of have to go. The enemies, by the time Fjord scouted KDCM's push, they were like in their face. So you don't stop at that point. You have to keep going. If your strat was to come in and push, you have to keep executing that. So that's as far as KDCM is concerned. They can't really be worried about a Charger coming on the side, but you have to be able to react to it. And I think it was the reaction that failed. Those Fjord mechs coming from the side. I just, like, their deck was just very interesting too, because you saw Fjord, those 2 mechs that came in from the side, the Viper and the Charger, were not in the initial fight when KDCM killed the Rhino, right? And so KDCM lost 2 mechs before Fjord lost 2, in spite of the fact that Fjord was down 2 mechs in the initial fight. You know what I mean? So it's I'm not sure if that's a mech issue, that's a skill issue. It's very interesting to see that though.
So with that being said, of course, both teams are actually locked, ready to rock. So we're gonna get this drop down to Bear Claw.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of sad again. We don't see really any Thunderbolts so far coming from either teams at all, really. I think Thunderbolts are incredibly strong, especially on those past 2 maps that were dropped.
I'm not sure. That sounds like a absolute crackpot take, to be honest with me. I could see where they could be very niche, a niche application. We might see something like that come towards the end of the tournament this year, but I would be shocked to see them before that personally. They're just far too niche in any sort of competitive environment, much like the LRMs of the past.
Yeah. I'm flying over to the Sigma side again. Right. So just kind of looking at both teams right now. Again, looks like Fjord is kind of bringing a little bit more, I guess, laser trade because you still have Andy in the SR1. You have Arthen again in the Mistlinks. Artillery Hamster in the Cyrus 1P, a highly DPS damage machine. I think that was your theory, correct? If I remember correctly, when the pass happened. Then you have the Blackjack 1X, a Madcap Mark II Death Strike, probably gonna be some sort of Gauss Vomit. Kodiak 3 again, Daka, Ice Ferret J, your typical, and then the Shadow Cat. What do we got over there?
So
KDCM?
we do see KDCM has Spider 5K, Crusader 6T, Lombo, the Hero Lombo, very fast. We have the SRM Mistlinks, SRM Summoner, a Skull, a Shadowcat Mishipeshu, and then the Charger 1A1. So it seems like they're wanting to push, which I'm so confused because I guess that's part of the psyops because Fjord gave them the better side of the map to play a control strategy. And KDCM is just like, no, screw it, we're going to push anyway, right in your psyop. So we do see a bunch of mid-range binary vom from KDCM. This is a map I would like to see those mechs on. So that is strong that they're bringing them here. We see Teos in the Skull, 4 Plasmas, LB20. I actually think that's a very strong build. I don't know if that Ghost Heats in the 4 Plasmas. I don't think it does. The same Serm Summoner we saw before. Zelnega Spider is, of course, HMG, Medium X Pulse. Jace Crusader is very much the same. Artillery Hamster, Osiris very much the same. Ego Ninja, Ice Ferret, Small Pulse. Arthen's Mistlinks, the same. We see
KDCM are very split here. Very split KDCM. Mechs everywhere.
And
their light is isolated.
So they are pushing, of course. Like this is a full send. As Ash pointed out,
Zelnega's getting cut.
Yes, but this could be good if he can delay his death. If he can delay his death a long time, there are 2 Fjord mechs. It looks like he's not going to have to, though. The Fjords didn't really jump on him. He's just running away. I don't know if Fjord saw the push. Looking from Artillery Hamster's side of the map. Okay.
They shot at
so
Jay.
Artillery Hamster is aware. So KDCM at this point is in a 2-way crossfire. Once again, just like the Viridian match between the Ego Ninja and Artillery Hamster's lights, and then the rest of Fjordland. So Fjord is just backtracking here in the open. This is the perfect thing to do. KDCM's coming over, they're barreling over. Jay and the Crusader just getting turbo focused, insta-leg. That's why you don't bring the Crusader for these pushes. I don't know why these people keep insisting on bringing this mech. Absolutely terrible. We see Jay just dead immediately. Just
I think there was a miscommunication here. Because Gil went to go jump them in the rear, but then the rest of KDCM pushed to the right instead of left, so essentially Gil's getting caught.
And Gil is legged, and he will go down in short order. KDCM, the rest of them, has not even made it to the fight. Like, we see Call Me Gil and Jay dead for almost nothing. KDCM, the rest of them are fresh. We see the rest of Fjordlands is fresh.
Their pushes stalled as soon as Jay died just then. You can just see it. They all stopped.
Absolutely. But it's like you have to anticipate that. You're pushing with a Crusader. You can't get away with pushing with a Crusader and not being the first focus. It's just crazy to me to expect anything different. So we see each on we head. Fjord is a counter pushing. They are straight up counter pushing. Super smart for them. They know they're way ahead here. Each on we heads gets absolutely picked off from the rest of his team here. Stool Softener's going to be next. And Logic Prime. And it's just crazy stuff. There he goes, dead within 10 seconds of being spotted. Less than that. Logic Prime is going to get chased down by Artillery Hamster, Iron Wolfpack, all the lights.
Well played, Fjord. Like, everything about this just spoke really good job on them.
Fantastic.
But again, like,
in the meantime, about 30 seconds ago, the lights have all split off to go cap. Like, they gave up on...
Which is smart.
Killing.
That is very smart. We see Zelnega is going to secure Sigma for KDCM. We do see Teos in his skull is going to... He caps cap and he's going to hold it, I guess, the last bastion. I feel like they should just keep Teos there, keep Logic running, and maybe Snack can get some good burns in the lights that chase. But Fjord's not going to chase. They're sticking very tight in the corner. We see they're contesting the caps that KDCM is not on. We see they have 2 guys in Gamma right now. Oh, yeah.
Epsi's already been neutralized.
Yep. And then they cap Epsi as well. So they're taking that 4 cap.
You made a note about Teos' skull. Just to let you know, that does not go seek because of the HSL.
Right. So that's a very
There's a net
build.
neutral on cap change. The cap changes here have netted nothing in the end here.
Yeah. I mean, the KDCM is on the back foot here. They're very heavily on the back foot in this match because they have lost, fundamentally, they have lost most of their lights. And Logic is very hurt as opposed to Fjordland's lights, who looks like they're going to make a stand here.
Fresh.
Revan does get legged, though, by Teos. Teos gets a good shot around the corner onto Revan. So Revan is legged. Artillery is open legged. He's not actually open leg, but he's very hurt. So Snack and Teals are going to come in. But Fjord just with a mech advantage here. Snack is going to get caught. Andy and the Stone Rhino. Snack gets legged in the open in front of Andy and Iron Wolfpack. Snack will be going down in short order.
And
He
Teals
does get
is getting jumped as well.
He gets a great burn on Andy, but he's not leg shielding really. He's just trying to walk back and forth. He needs to be leg shielding right now. This Rhino is just going to get his other leg for free if he doesn't leg shield very good. He is still alive for now. He's not able to get the kill on Andy. He turned his attention to Artillery Hamster, which is probably the smart play. Snack does go down. Self-destruction from overheat. Not much more he could have done there. Getting a good final burn on Artillery Hamster. Fjord is still going to hold that 3-cap, but Zelnega is the last contender left for KDCM.
I think he's realized the game is over and coming to death. Just ran past Epsy, didn't even bother, so, yeah.
Again, would this be considered an upset alert? Because I think a lot of people were definitely really wanting, I think, KDCM to win this. I think the voting was heavily in KDCM's favor.
I mean, I think if you're voting against Fjord, you're making a mistake. Fjord has, like, KDCM is a strong team, but Fjord has consistently proven through the whole of this year in all sorts of tournaments that they have come here to win. They've come to play, they've come to win, they've prepared, and they've done their homework. And we've seen that very well here against this fight against KDCM, particularly in this last match. I mean, this is about to be an 8-0, and there it is. Yeah. The game is over. Extremely well-played Fjord wins. That is an 8-0 clean sweep for Fjord into this final best-of-3 match here. And Fjord did their homework. It's very simple. Fjord did their homework against KDCM, and it shows.
Yeah, Fjord didn't push much at all, realistically, when you think about it. They let KDCM make the mistakes here for the most part.
Agreed, absolutely. And they did have the deck. That's the thing. I liked Fjord's decks a lot. They did bring the decks to push should the opportunity arise. And in fact, they did against Terra Thermo, right? Even though the Stone Rhino, Noblest, I believe it was, and Andy and the Mad Guy just got absolutely drilled out by KDCM's Laser Bomb traders, they still counter pushed into KDCM and won. So they still brought the deck.
Was better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, their deck was better for Terra to turn it around, essentially.
And that is going to be a very fast series. Under an hour. Very interesting.
I thought it was definitely going to go to 4 games. I'm genuinely surprised it was 3-0. They've obviously done their homework. That's what you need to do. And yeah, I think capitalized on a few KDCM mistakes there. Just, again, like you said, having those right decks to do that with, right? That's very important.
Yeah, KDCM had its very interesting decks, but I hope they take this lesson to the looters bracket. You can't accomplish what you're trying to do with some of those mech picks. You have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit less trying to cover every niche at once. With all those like mid-range lasers. Oh, we're going to burn their legs as they come in, and we can trade them, and we're somewhat fast. No. You need to focus a little bit more on what you're trying to do, or you're going to get hard stopped by people like Fjord, who did their homework and brought, for example, Daka. We saw Fjord bring Daka to every single match. You know what we didn't see KDCM bring? Daka to any of these matches. It makes a difference. A big one. Daka needs to be respected.
Yeah, again, especially with the buffs they've received recently, I don't think there's any reason to not run Daka at this point in time. Like, again,
agreed.
It's so strong right now, and it helps. And it's a great counter to a lot of different things, and it gives you the ability to kind of flex around a little bit. So
yeah, I felt like, especially that Terra, if KDCM could have brought a mix of laser and Daka rather than all laser, again, just having a bit more heat cap available. I'm kind of thinking now that that Terra game, that a lot of KDCM's mechs were most likely heat capped as well. That wouldn't have been helping.
Yes, and we saw that, for example, from Zelnega's Hellfire, blew his own leg off. Not even really his fault. It's just the mech is too hot. And as I said at the start of Terra, it's not necessarily even the map heat. It's not even necessarily about the map heat. But when you're fighting a team like Fjord, you have to expect they're going to be aggressive, and you have to expect, if you're KDCM, expect these guys to be aggressive and expect these guys to push. And when they do, regardless of map, that's when your laser vomits are going to start to overheat. And that's what we saw.
Yeah. Like I was talking about earlier, even just bringing one Daka mech is going to give you so much more positive out of anything else.
Absolutely.
So, even if it's just like a Night Gear, for instance, like a Night Gear B or a Jade Kite with just like AC5s or AC10s.
Hell, I think you could justify a lot of picks on Terra Thermo. I think you could justify an Ilya Murametz if you're KDCM on that map, expecting to receive a Fjord push. You can absolutely even, like Ilya Murm, it's very high DPS, very high armor, a little bit on the slow side, frees up tons compared to something like a Nitro. There's so many options for you that you can pick, but not these laser vomits that just crumple when you're walked at.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's kind of go ahead and call it there for today's match and for the rest of the tournament. Next weekend is going to be the next set of games, where I do believe we're going to have some teams exiting the competition next week. I do not believe, Bowser, you're going to be playing next week. I think all of the teams that won are going to be getting a little bit of a bye. So, again, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Again, thank you, Ash, Bowser, for stopping by and helping me out with this cash.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and with that being all said, I will catch y'all on the flip side.
See you.
I'm muted. I'm just going to let the stream run out. I did not